Hello my dear student, in this video I'm going to give a brief overview for Unit 1. In Unit 1 we have two learning goals, which are first understand financial literacy and how it related to financial planning process over the life cycle. Second, understand the opportunity cost and time value of money calculations in relation to financial goals. Let's start with the first learning goal. Financial literacy. Financial literacy is a human capital specific to personal finance. As a human capital, it produces economic value. Specifically, it helps you to make wise personal financial decisions within the economy. It is also one of the three resources of happiness, along with durable goods and financial capital. Remember, when you are young, typically you have much human capital, but most likely not too many financial capital. Throughout your life, you turn your human capital into financial capital by working for income. Hopefully, when you get retired, you would have enough financial capital to fund your goals after retirement. Now, let's talk about time value of money. Time value of money is one of the most important things that you will learn from this class. It is basically saying that today's dollar is worth more than tomorrow's dollar. In other words, you require for returns when making investment. Your lender requires for interest when lending you money. Time value of money can also be used for inflation calculation. When Big Mac just got introduced in 1967, it was sold for 45 cents. Today it is much more expensive. Why? Inflation. Again, today's dollar is worth much more than tomorrow's dollar. There are 5 variables in time value of money calculation, which are future value, recurring payment, present value, interest rate per compounding period, and the number of periods. If 4 of these variables are known, you should be able to solve the 5th variable using your financial calculator. Be aware that the sign for each variable matters here. If you are making a stock investment, money flows out from your pocket to the stock market. Therefore, there is a cash outflow and the cash flow is negative. If you are receiving a loan, money flows into your pockets from the bank. Therefore, there is a cash inflow and the cash flow is positive. On the contrary, when you sell your stock, you receive money from the stock market and your cash flow should be positive. When you pay back your loan, money flows out from your pocket to the bank, and you will have a negative cash flow, or say cash outflow. An incorrect sign will lead to a serious mistake, so please make sure you enter the correct number with the correct sign. If you are dealing with monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually compounding, you will need to adjust your I/Y and N. Remember that I/Y is the interest rate per compounding period, not the interest per year. N is the number of compounding periods, not the number of years. I will take monthly compounding as an example here. When you are dealing with monthly compounding, you should enter monthly interest rate for I/Y. The way to calculate the monthly interest rate is very easy. Simply divide the APR, annual percentage rate, or say annual interest rate, by 12 months. The number you got out of these calculations will be your monthly interest rate. Same thing for the number of compounding period. In a monthly compounding questions, a compounding period is a month. If you are given the number of years, you should multiply the number of years by 12 months in order to get the number of months, which is the number of compounding periods in this question. When you are asked to solve for I/Y and N in a monthly compounding problem, keep in mind that the I/Y and N you got from your calculator are the monthly interest rate and the number of months. You will need to multiply the monthly interest rate by 12 to get the annual interest rate and divide the number of months by 12 in order to get the number of years. If the question asks for the number of years instead of the number of months. You may also be aware that you can use the p/y function in your financial calculator to solve for daily, monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually compounding questions. However, I will not recommend using the p/y function to do these compounding questions, as it is prone to mistakes. Also, be aware that the number of decimal places matters. Look at these questions here. If I keep 2 decimal places, which is the default setting of your financial calculator, the future value I got will be $60,010. If I change to 4 decimal places, the future value I got will increase about 7% to $64,200. Whenever you are solving a TVN question, always keep at least 4 decimal places. Otherwise, you will get a terribly imprecise outcome. To keep 4 decimal places, please follow the instruction in this slide. It is also recommended that you reset the TVN memory every time you start a new question. Please follow the instruction in this slide to reset your TVN memory. Doing this will clear the memories for N, I/Y, PV, PNT, and FV. If you experience an unknown problem with your calculator, the chance is you may have changed something you should not touch. In this situation, I would recommend you reset your financial calculator by following the instruction in this slide. Remember to set the number of decimal places to 4 after resetting your entire calculator. These are all I would like to cover in Unit 1 overview. Please feel free to reach me if you have any questions. I will see you soon in Unit 2.